Senna is a marksman that can be played as both support and AD carry, and in both roles, she can dish out some incredible damage with tons of crowd control effects and team utility abilities. But what does it take to go from being a good Senna player to the best Senna player? Today, we're going to be focusing on Gizmo Duck, a challenger EU West player who is considered to be the best Senna in the world. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Twigger, that of course is Lola, and we are back with another League of Legends #1 player in the world video, and this time I am very excited to be featuring this player who is the #1 ranked Senna in the world. Now this player is an EU West challenger ADC main who is currently ranked number 253 in European West server, so definitely no slouch when it comes to playing League of Legends at a very competitive level. Now this is an ADC main who does play Senna in the ADC role, so none of this support Senna, just strictly ADC, and you can definitely tell that he's an ADC main based on the stats that he provides on this champion. 75% win rating over 64 games, and with a 5.8 kill, 2.5 death, and 11.1 assists KDA on this champion, which gives him a 6.64 KDA on Senna over 64 games, which is absolutely insane. So mainly we're going to be focusing on this Senna, and of course people, if you do enjoy this style of video, be sure to hit that like button, and also consider subscribing to the channel. We release 6 videos a week for your entertainment, and you don't want to miss out on any of that. So let's get back into this game. We're mainly going to be focusing on this Senna and how this Senna tends to play the laning phase in the overall game, but we will jump back and forth to other lanes when big things happen, just to see how the game overall progresses. But in terms of this Senna's runes, the Inspiration Tree, Glacial Augment, Magical Footwear, Biscuit Delivery, and Approach Velocity with Precision, Presence of Mind, and Bloodline with the runic stats of Adaptive Force and Armor. So in terms of who we've got in this game, we're actually already getting into a little bit of trading into that bot lane, but up in the top lane we have got a Dr. Mundo versus a Riven, Shaco versus the Kiana in the jungle, Ryze versus a Lucian in the mid lane, and then we've got our Senna Braum versus Kai'Sa and Thresh. So some very standard lanes, very scary lanes as well when you look at late game scaling for that blue side with the Mundo, the Kiana, the Kai'Sa, and also the Ryze. But you know, you got a lot of good damage coming out from that red side as well. So in terms of just talking about this Senna, some things that we definitely have to look for in terms of being a challenger player, this performance summary gives you a general idea of how good this player is at Senna. Way above master tier averages in terms of gold per minute, creeps per minute, kill participation, damage per minute, and also kills and assists. But then additionally, just going into some more stats while we've got a couple minutes here, in terms of damage per minute, this Senna player does 638 damage per minute, which is over 100 more than the average master tier Senna main. In terms of damage taken, takes 458 damage, which is about 50 damage less than the average Senna main. I actually do just want to see that first blood, just so we know how this whole game is going to be progressing here. Looks like the Lucian was actually just trying to, I guess, fight the Ryze a little bit, but currently the Kiana is just in a perfect position to gank this Lucian. And he's unfortunately at very low HP, and that is just going to be a very easy kill for the Kiana. Looks like the Senna actually did get hooked, taking a lot of damage with the Braum with the shield is going to block that passive proccing from the Kai'Sa, so not going to take as much damage as expected. The heal's coming over the Q. Braum did land the Q though, and then there we go. The last embrace landing on the Kai'Sa, and the stun is going to come up from the Braum as well. Don't know if they're going to stay here to actually try to fight this one. The Kai'Sa does do a lot of damage. The heal coming out as well. The Thresh hook is going to go wide. Another stun is going to land onto the Thresh. The Senna is going to be the one to pick up that kill. Kiana right now being chased on by the Shaco, and a double kill is going to happen for our Senna. Looks like the Shaco was just chasing that Kiana down and basically served the Kiana up to our Senna on a silver platter. So that is a double kill, only 3.5 minutes in this game. And it looks like the Shaco actually just flashed and dove in onto that Kai'Sa, but unfortunately took those turret shots and ended up being his demise as well. But still pretty worth it, because that means that this Kai'Sa is going to be missing about 2 minion waves of minions, and missing 2 waves at like 3.5 minutes into this game is going to be huge, especially when you're facing a Senna who just got a double kill and all that farm. in terms of just this overall game, I think that this bot lane should have the advantage, especially now, after the Senna just got a double kill, which is absolutely an insane start at 4 minutes in. The Ryze actually doing a ton of damage to the Lucian, but unfortunately not enough. He did actually end up dying to the Lucian's Ignite, and Lucian just survives with barely any HP left. The Senna did go back and picked herself up a pickaxe, and also an additional longsword and some fairy charms. So I'm wondering if we're going to see the pretty standard Senna build where you go for that Umbral Glaive, follow it up with an Athene's Unholy Grail, and then build kind of crit after that, because the one thing that we did note previously from the Glacial Augment Senna, that Korean build that was there, that you only really have to build like 2 crit items to then get the 100% crit that you're looking for, or 75% crit, or something along those lines, because of course with her passive, for every 1 soul that she picks up, or 1 miss stack that she picks up, she gets 1 additional AD, but then every 20 stacks you get 25 additional bonus range and 15% crit. So it's one of those stats that, you know, the more this game goes on and the more miss stacks that Senna picks up, the longer range she gets, the more crit she gets, and the more terrifying of a champion she becomes. And then, of course, we can't forget her ultimate, which is the absolute perfect ability to get long range assists and kills. So it looks like we do have some pings coming down from the Ryze onto the Senna, and the Braum thinks he's gonna maybe try to get a little gank going off here. The Ryze is not level 6 yet, so he doesn't actually have his ultimate to get in there fast, but looks like we do have some fighting up in the top lane, but it looks like the Kiana and the Shaco are just going to back off from that one, and Ryze is going to go back to the mid lane. So right now we're sitting at 9.5k to 8.3k in favor of this red side. Most of the goal probably sitting on our Senna, but we do have that kill onto the Lucian and a kill and an assist onto the Shaco. So, I'm curious also to see, I think don't know if the Shaco is going to be going AP or AD. Based on the team that he has, oh, Lucian actually picking up a kill. I actually do want to see that just to see how this mid lane progresses, because right now this has been a very interactive mid lane. So it just looks like the Ryze trying to be a little bit overzealous here, trying to get some damage off. He does land some pretty good EQs, but then the Lucian looks like he just is going to dive in there, uses the call because he hit level 6. The flash coming out from the Ryze as well, but the follow-up flash coming down from the Lucian is going to be enough to secure the kill on that mid laner. But looks like we do actually have a Kiana coming in for a little bit of a visit. Only level 4 and does not have that flash available. Remember, she used that flash for the first gank and the first blood onto that Lucian, so did not have that available quite yet, but we do now have the Lucian sitting 2-1-0 over that Ryze, who's currently 0-2-1. In terms of just early game farm, 44 CS to 30 CS in favor of the Senna, which is pretty nuts, but it just goes to show, getting that early kill, the Shaco dying to kill the Kai'Sa, has really set the Kai'Sa back in terms of farm. So I'm once again very curious to see where this Senna ends up building, what she ends up building, and if this enemy team is if this team is going to be going for a dragon anytime soon. But what I was saying before is that based on the team on this red side, I'm assuming that the Shaco is going to go for more of an AP build. But you know, could very well be wrong on that thing as well. He does have Electrocute, could kind of go either way here. But definitely going to be curious to see, because we right now do have a lot of AD on this team with the Senna, with the Lucian, with the Riven. So maybe having the AP assassination potential of that Shaco could be really beneficial for this team. Looks like we do have a gank going on onto this Ryze, but they do of course have this warded, so that gank is going to be thwarted. And we're almost about to hit level 6 on these folks. So once again, once you hit level 6 on Senna, the world becomes your oyster. You get that ultimate, the Dawning Shadow, to just blow people up from across the map, but also shield your allies, which is very, very nice. So the Braum and the Senna are now here. The Lantern is going to come out. They're going to try to do some damage. The Mist is actually going to land onto the Thresh, but once again, he is very, very tanky. If that had landed on the other target, it would have been fine. But the Mundo did TP in the back. They are going to get the stun from the Braum. He does have his ultimate ticking, but the Ignite going down to try to stop it. But the Braum taking a lot of damage, but the Ignite also was there, but the Q gonna come up from the Senna to keep him alive through that Ignite, just barely ends up surviving the Ignite from the Thresh. So great TP from the Mundo, but unfortunately it was just not enough to actually secure any kills, and just a great Q coming out from the Senna, healing up that Braum, keeping him alive through that Ignite. But the Senna once again trying to go in here, trying to land that last embrace onto the Kai'Sa. If that had landed, I think we would have been looking at a dead blue side ADC, but unfortunately just a little bit too short there, is gonna hit a minion instead of the Kai'Sa. So overall, this has actually been a pretty dominant performance from this red side. 13.8k to 12.1k, only 8 minutes in. And it looks like the Shaco is now going for this dragon. So this should be pretty easy, of course, with the Shaco clone. The Faco going to be tanking the majority of that. Kiana right now, none the wiser, taking her red buff. And that is going to be the first dragon of the game going in favor of this red side. Was an ocean dragon. It looks like now we've got a cloud dragon as the next dragon that's going to be spawning. Lucian trying to run away here because, of course, you do have that Kiana that just showed her face in mid lane. The Senna did go back and picked herself up a serrated Dirk. So I think this looks like the build going for that Umbral Glaive first. It would not surprise me if that was the case. But once again, I've been proven wrong before, especially by these high ELO players when I think the low ELO builds are what they're going to do. But we did actually have a gank here in the mid lane. I'm not entirely sure how that happened. I do actually want to go back and check that out because we did know that the Kiana was around here. I thought that she was going to go B, but she actually did just return. The Lucian was playing a little bit overzealous. The flash coming out with the ultimate, actually stunning him against the wall where it didn't actually look like he was in range of that stun, but it still happened anyways. But the Braum's going to get some damage down onto the Kiana, and that's going to be enough with the Shaco E is going to be enough to kill that Kiana. So a 1-for-1 trade, but more assists going in favor of that red side. Always surprises me the range of that Kiana stun because it looked like the Lucian was standing just outside of that stun range, but still ended up stunning him anyway. So kind of unfortunate for the Lucian. Wish that didn't happen to him, but you know, that's just the power of Kiana. So once again, Kiana using that flash in the mid lane to secure a kill onto the Lucian, try to get that Rise a little bit ahead, try to get that hyper scaling mid laner that you know and love going in this game. But since the Kiana is dead, the Shaco looks like he's just gone straight for the Rift Herald. Very smart play because right now the Kiana is just down on the bot side, might just take those Krugs and then might try to look for a gank on the bot side. But the Shaco taking down that early Rift Herald means that there will be another Rift Herald spawn before that 19-minute or so despawn time from the Rift Herald. But we once again have another fight in the mid lane, and all of a sudden Rise is starting to do a little bit more damage, landing those good combos, taking Lucian down to under half HP, and Lucian unfortunately just not doing the same type of damage to this Rise. So I always feel like Rise is just kind of a ticking time bomb. The Ribbon is going to come in, the call is going to come out, the flash is going to come out as well, and that is going to be a dead Rise. The broken blade coming down from the Ribbon with the wind slash afterwards, just doing so much damage to him after that damage was already done. But it looks like the TP is going to come down from this Ribbon as well. She still has that ultimate available as well, so she is doing additional damage. She has that additional AD, which is going to be enough for Senna to pick up her third kill of the game. Man, if you are a top laner, that was the most ideal situation you could possibly have. Getting a kill with your flash in the mid lane and then going straight down to the bot lane with TP and picking up an additional assist. That was just perfect while her ultimate was still on, so having that additional AD during a second play is just great. So Shaco popping the Rift Herald down in the bot side. 2.5 plates, I believe the Rift Herald takes, so this turret will be going down to this, the turret will be going down to this Rift Herald. So there you go, first turret of the game going in favor of the red side. That is just hugely putting their lead into the limelight here. 20,000 to 16.2k, a 4,000 gold lead at just 11 minutes into this game is absolutely insane. So in terms of the build here, it actually is going to be an AD Shaco going that warrior enchant. And Lucian once again in a little bit of trouble. The Thresh is here, the Kai'Sa's here as well, but no, sorry, not the Kai'Sa, it was actually the Rise. They just kind of looked similar. So Rise picking up a kill onto that Lucian. Great roam from the Thresh, of course, has those Moby boots, so can make that journey pretty easily. Kiana also stole the Scuttle Crab from the Shaco, so kind of unfortunate for him, and is now looking to kind of roam into this jungle, get some wards down, some deep wards, so she can maybe get a gank down onto this Senna, who actually has not gone for the Umbral Glaive, has gone instead for the Manamune. So getting that early Manamune, so gonna have to try to stack that as fast as possible. Gonna be kind of interesting, I guess. For the Umbral Glaive, it is more of the support way of building Senna. So I guess this is probably a little bit more normal for an ADC Senna. Once again, I don't play a ton of Senna, but maybe I'm gonna have to start picking it up after watching this person play. But in terms of the overall CS right now, actually just gonna talk about what's happening here. Oh, it's just the Shaco, so we don't really need to worry about it. Kai'Sa almost got a kill onto the Shaco. The Faco is, oh, he's actually gonna burn the flash from the Kai'Sa. That's just gonna be an absolute freebie with the Shaco just running at the Kai'Sa. The hook is going to land onto the Lucian, but it looks like a quick flash is going to come out. That was a great predictive hook onto the Lucian, just getting that dash. So it looks like the Last Embrace is not going to actually hit the Rise, so they're just going to go back to farming here. So yeah, it looks like the Manamune, and then I'm not entirely sure what she's going to be building later on into this game. The Braum is going to get hit by that snare. Another snare coming down from the Kiana, and the ultimate coming down. Not going to be enough to blow the Senna up, but the ultimate coming down, the Glacial Fissure from that Braum is not going to land onto the Rise. The Rise did have to burn that flash to get away from that Glacial Fissure, so 1-for-0 exchange in that mid lane. Just looking at kind of how the lanes are currently going here, we do have 132 CS to the 109 in favor of that Ribbon, 70 to 55 in favor of the Shaco, 80 to 96 in favor of the Rise, and then 107 to 96 in favor of the Senna. So fairly even lanes other than that mid lane and the top lane and the jungle as well, but looks like the Braum is going to land that passive onto the Thresh, and when Braum lands the passive, lands that slow, it does not seem very difficult with that increased attack range from the Senna to get those stacks down to land that stun onto the Thresh. So once again, she's just collecting as much souls as humanly possible, currently at 27, so does have that 25 additional range and 15% crit, and once again, once she gets above 100% critical strike, some of it is converted into life steal, so not entirely sure if she's going to ever have over 100% crit, but something that we just have to keep in mind and watch out for. So second dragon of this game going in favor of the red side, going to pick up those mist stacks. So that is now a cloud dragon and an ocean dragon. It looks like the mountain dragon is going to be the soul of this map. So still have a couple dragons to go to get that soul, but the mountain dragon is now, of course, spawned a whole bunch of different terrain around the map, which, to be honest, I think it's actually more in favor of the blue side getting a mountain dragon because they do have that Kiana. So Kiana, of course, loves terrain, loves to be able to pick up the terrain for her W, but then also being able to knock people into the terrain with that display of talent. Is going to be pretty insane for her. So looks like the Duskblade was finished off for the Senna. Another longsword being picked up as well with the Manamune. She has currently got 215 stacks. So it's going to take a little while. Senna, of course, not being like an Ezreal or a Ryze or a Veigar that have very, very short cooldowns on their abilities. Senna is just going to have to take her time with this one, stacking up with those Qs, the Last Embrace, the W every now and again. But it is going to take her a little bit longer than those champions who are known for building a Tear of the Goddess early to stack it up very quickly. So gonna just keep track of how that's all going for the Senna and when she does end up actually completing that item into the Mirror Mana. So it looks like some damage coming down from the Kai'Sa, but you know, currently just 1 kill and 2 deaths, but currently is a double pickaxe. So BF sword into double pickaxe for the Kai'Sa. Not entirely sure where that Kai'Sa is going with those items, but definitely going to be interesting to see. And the thing that we also have to note here, that we haven't really talked about yet, is this Mundo. Oh, but the Shaco is going to find the Kiana, but he does have that boxer, so he was going to be able to be safe no matter what. But this Mundo, you know, right now with the current patch, it is definitely the League of Tanks, but the Glacial Fish are actually going to come out and miss everybody entirely. So as I was saying before, it is kind of the League of Tanks right now. It especially is the League of Bommies, Cinder, and Sunfire Cape, but it looks like the Ryze ended up picking up another kill onto the Lucian with the help of the Thresh, but a lot of damage going down onto the Kiana. The Kiana is actually going to get stunned by that Braum passive, and it looks like the proc from Kai'Sa's passive was not going to land onto the Shaco, but here comes the Mundo with that Sunfire Cape. It is currently a very, very busted item, so he's going to pop his ultimate just to get in here a little bit faster, but the Shaco is going to try to run away with that invisibility, and he is going to get away from this one. Shaco is not going to get hit by that threshold, but the Last Embrace is going to lock him down for a little bit. Mundo is just very, very tanky right now. The Braum passive is going to land on him, but right now the Ryze is here as well, so I don't know if anybody is going to really want this fight with the Mundo and the Ryze, but Last Embrace once again landing onto the Thresh, but it's not really going to come to anything because the Senna does not seem to want to fight here. Right now it is just a little bit not in their favor with their ultimates being down. But still, a lot of good work coming in from the Senna. It's still continuing to farm 145 to 131 in favor of our Senna, but you know, it's once again everything that I've been saying. The Mirror Mana, Seraph's Embrace has already been completed by this Ryze, so just showing the difference of how fast these two champions stack those abilities. So it's going to be, oh, huge amount of damage onto the Senna, but not quite enough. Escaping out of there with just about like 10 HP getting away from that Ryze. So we are just seeing, once again, as I was saying before, is that this Ryze is a ticking time bomb. The longer the game goes, the scarier this Ryze is going to get. So while this mid lane is currently being under siege, the amount of healing from the Senna Q, though, has already brought her back to half HP. But while this mid lane is currently being sieged, the Shaco is currently taking this Rift Herald, but looks like the enemy team is aware of this. The Shaco box are going to buy a little bit of time, but don't think it's going to be enough time. He is probably going to have to run away from this one, but he is going to try to take it. He did actually just use his invisibility in the pit. Going to try to actually kill the Kiana, but he's not going to kill the Kiana. The Kiana is going to be able to kill the Shaco. The Kiana did pay for that with her life, though. The Lucian picking up a kill on her, but the Rift Herald, the Rift Herald was picked up by the Thresh. So overall, I think worthwhile for the blue side, not allowing that red side to pick up the second Rift Herald of the game. So Thresh currently sitting on that one, but a 1-for-1 trade, both junglers dying in that Rift Herald skirmish. But was very, very smart for the Shaco to actually just stay in this pit, get that ultimate down, get all those boxes and the fear down, so that way the Lucian could end up cleaning up that Kiana. So looking at our lovely Senna here, 4-0-2, has already opted for a Last Whisperer as her third item. So I'm going to be very interested to see if that last Whisperer gets turned into a Lord Dominus Regard or a Mortal Reminder. I'm assuming it's going to be a Mortal Reminder just because they do have that Mundo on the enemy team. And the thing that we were trying to discuss previously is that Mundo with all the armor that he's building right now, we have to remember that everybody on this red side is AD. They're all attack damage oriented champions. So if Mundo builds a ton of armor and has that passive going and they do not have grievous wounds on the enemy side, it is going to be very, very difficult to kill Mundo. So curious to see how the Mundo is going to end up building, and I'm wondering if this red side is going to build any type of healing reduction earlier rather than later to try to kind of cope with that. But the Riven engaging onto this Rise does have that ultimate currently active, doing a lot of damage, but the Seraph's Embrace is going to come out and give him that little bit of a shield, but the ultimate coming down, and the Flash W is going to actually secure the kill for the Riven onto that Rise. Incredible mechanics coming from that Riven there, just not expecting that one. The ultimate coming down from the Kiana as well is going to buy her a little bit of time, but the Shaco is trying to chase this one down, but it actually was the Faco, just got returned to the Shaco as well. Feel like I'm saying Shaco and Faco a lot, but the Lucian is going to get a kill onto that Mundo, and right now the Kiana's trying to run away with the invisibility, of course, from her Q, but it looks like Senna actually, during all of that, ended up picking up a kill onto that Thresh. I just want to see what happened there because, of course, we cannot miss what our Senna does. So a lot of kills end up going down. The Blade of the Ruin King helping that Lucian take down that Mundo, but it looks like, yeah, the Senna is just right here. I think it was, again, another great TP play coming down from that Riven to just secure the kill onto the Thresh. Senna picking up her 5th kill of this game. So very impressive play, I've got to say, from everybody. This is a Challenger to Grandmaster level game, so everybody seems to be playing very, very well, and it looks like this red side is going to pick up their 3rd dragon of the game, that Mountain Dragon going in favor of them, which, once again, the more dragons that you can get, the better off you are going to be. So right now Senna is currently sitting at, I just wanted to see her stats there, but can I actually see? I can actually see. So currently sitting at 20% armor penetration, well, 21, so 20% armor penetration there, 12% life steal, 15% critical strike with 10% cooldown reduction. We can already see 66 seconds of people already being slowed by Glacial Augment, which is absolutely insane. Already got 2,261 mana restored, 42 seconds of time spent hasted by approach velocity. So some pretty amazing stuff already coming down from the runes of this Senna. So it really just goes to show what you can do with the proper rune setups for these types of champions. But we do see that the Mortal Reminder has been picked up from Senna. So very, very smart. And in terms of her build, she's of course maxed her Q first. She's maxing her W second. And of course the Curse of the Black Mist as last, just getting 1 point in there for the additional movement speed and the invisibility. But looks like the Braum is going to try to go in onto this Mundo. Is going to use the Glacial Fissure, but once again, it's going to miss. I feel like Braum has missed actually every single one of his ultimates this game, which is kind of unfortunate, but Mundo does have his ultimate now, so I don't even know even if that landed, if they would have been able to get a kill. But look at the damage coming down from the Senna. He's going to come down just to speed her up a little bit, knowing very well that the Kiana was coming in from that control ward that's in that brush. But nice slows coming down from the Glacial Augment. The Senna doing a lot of damage, is going to secure the kill onto the Kiana. And that is going to be your 6th kill of the game. The last Embrace also going to land onto this Rise, but they're not going to go and dive underneath this turret. So 6-0-3 for our Senna. Absolutely insane with 46 stacks up, but a big hook landing onto the Senna, which was exactly what this blue side needed. Right now, Kai'Sa going to be in a little bit of trouble as well. The Shaco is going to kill the Kai'Sa, securing that kill, and the Rift Herald is going to go down from this Thresh because, you know, they've got this turret that they probably want to see dead. But I feel like the Riven and the Braum can probably just take this Rift Herald out before it even reaches the turret. So that was just a miraculous hook onto the Senna underneath the turret to secure the 1st kill of the game, and also I believe a pretty big shutdown going in favor, I believe it was of the Rise who ended up picking that kill up. But still, you know, even with the Senna dying, we're still looking at an almost 5,000 gold lead in favor of this red side. 40.1k to 35.5k, 17-7. But it looks like the Q gonna have to come out from the Shaco. Once again, he does not have flash, but it is not gonna matter. The Rise is gonna be there to clean up that kill. He's now got 5 kills himself. So, you know, I keep on saying, you've got a Mundo, a Kiana, a Kai'Sa, and a Rise. That is a very, very scary late game team. But the thing I can say is that this red side has just done a very good job of utilizing their early to mid game advantage on their champions. But, you know, Riven with 246 CS over the 180 of the Mundo is a very, very substantial lead. But we can at least say that the Kai'Sa has really brought that scoreline back up to almost tie in, actually be tying the Senna right now. But the Sun is going to land onto the Kai'Sa, and the Senna is now here. Don't know if she's going to have, oh, she's easily going to have enough of that final auto attack. Just doing so much damage to the Senna. Sorry, to the Kai'Sa, I should say. So Braum having to just get in there, get those stacks off to ensure that she did get stunned, and then Senna just kind of walked up with that approach velocity and ended up securing the kill with the Glacial Augment. But right now, it looks like the Mundo is going to be in a world of pain here. The ultimate is ticking down and giving her a lot of HP, but it looks like the Riven is going to get stunned up, but not for very long. Kiana's going to go down to this Riven, and Riven's now turning her attention over to the Rise, but it is not going to be quite enough, and that is going to be a shutdown. 500 gold going in favor of this Mundo, but they did send 3 bottom, and also the Kiana ended up dying during that engage, so the Baron is being pinged by this red side. They do have 2 ADCs, the Lucian with Blade of the Ruin King, and also the Senna, so they're going to do a lot of damage very quickly to this Baron with this much AD and the Blade of the Ruin King from the Lucian, so it's already at 3,000 HP. Don't know if the enemy team is going to be able to make it here on time. No, it is going to go down. Now, is there going to be a fight ensuing after this? The Braum does have a shield up, and he is going to be the one tanking that hook. Last embrace onto the Thresh is going to kill him immediately. Mundo does not have his ultimate either, so he's just trying to run with his own tankiness, but it is not going to keep him alive now. Rise is the next card. Gonna have to flash. The Braum flash to try to get that Q on him, but it was not enough. The flash and last embrace is going to land onto the Rise, keeping him slowed for a little bit. Glacial Augment onto the Kai'Sa is going to be enough. No! The shield going to keep her alive for just a little bit longer. She's going to pick up a kill onto the Braum, but it looks like the Kai'Sa did pay for that with her life onto the Lucian. Rise going down next, and the Lucian getting picked up by that Kiana, and it looks like the Riven just getting over the wall and onto the Kiana is going to end up being an ace for this red side with the Shaco, the Riven, and the Senna all living to tell the tale. My goodness, that was a lot of action. Holy, okay. So 24 and a half minutes into this game, and the Riven sitting 4-1-2, 5-3-6 for the Shaco, 6-5-6 for the Lucian, but our star of this show, 8-1-6 for this Senna, just doing absolute work this game, has already got 65 stacks of that mist, so we can already see 45% crit with no crit items, which is always the most insane thing about Senna. 45% crit, no crit items. Still 10% CDR, 25% armor penetration with 675 range on that auto attack, which is insane. So it looks like the dragon is currently being taken. The Kiana is not going to get here in time to seal, and that is going to be the Mountain Soul, of course, for this team, which of course gives them that very, very large shield, which I don't think the enemy team really wanted to deal with this game. So far, this has just been a very dominant performance by this red side. It looks like the Maria Mana is now completed by this Senna. Finally got that one done. And the BF Sword being picked up by Senna as well. So BF Sword and also Pickaxe. Could very well go for an Infinity Edge. I'm not entirely sure about the BF Sword and the Pickaxe. Probably going to be IE. But it looks like the Senna trying to get the kill onto the Kiana, but just going to miss that. Or maybe it did hit, but just not enough to kill. What's the cooldown actually on her ultimate? 113 seconds. So still a very long time for ultimate to be back up, but I'm just not entirely sure how this blue side deals with the current itemage that's on the red side. Like really just Sunfire Cape and Thornmail for this Mundo, facing into a Death's Dance, Black Cleaver, Guardian Angel, Executioner's Calling on the Riven, which is just a pretty big deal when you're looking at top laners, but looks like the Rise might be trying to engage in on here. He does come in, but that is going to put him in the middle of the entire enemy team. Not entirely sure if he wanted that. Senna and Lucian are currently trying to focus him down, but the shield coming down from the the Seraph's Embrace is going to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but not long enough. But he did pick up a Lucian during all that. The Mundo's trying to heal up, but it currently is not going to be enough. The burn damage coming down from the Senna is going to be enough to pick that one up. The Glacial Augment is also keeping the Kiana at range of the Senna with that insanely long auto attack range. The hook is going to be dodged, and the last Embrace is going to be landing onto the Thresh. Triple kill currently for our Senna. Is she going to die to this turret? It does not look like it quite yet, but it looks like the Kai'Sa is going to survive for now. But that was a 4 versus 5. The Riven was actually split pushing that entire time, and they ended up coming out of here with a triple kill onto the Senna. 11-1-7 in favor of this Senna, which is absolutely insane, that scoreline. But the Mountain Dragon Shield just coming in absolutely clutch there. Everybody on the red side playing this game to a T, just playing it spot on. And unfortunately, these Thresh hooks just aren't landing the way that they want to. They really, really need to hook this Senna, because if they do not hook this Senna, this game is just going to be over. And to be honest, I think this game is already going to be over. Everybody is going to try to get in here, but everybody is just going to start attacking the Nexus, and that is going to be the end of this game. So ladies and gentlemen, that was the #1 Senna player in the world. Be sure, if you enjoyed this video, to like it and subscribe if you haven't already. But let's go and check out those end game screens to see how everybody in fact did this game. It's pretty safe to say that Gizmo Duck had an amazing game, ending off at 11 kills, 1 death, and 7 assists in this 27-minute game. They also managed to royally top the damage charts with almost 22,000 damage, which is over 7,000 more damage than the pretty fed Lucian on their team. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to let me know what champion you'd like to see featured next on the #1 player series.